Hello everyone, welcome to another milestone edition of Art Whisperer 88. On your screen I have an acrylic paint pen. This is a cheaper version of Posca. This I got from Amazon. These are very inexpensive. I got a whole set for something like $15. Here's my regular Sharpie pen, and here is my True Red fat chisel marker. So today I am going to do some scribble, some mark making. You could call this scribble mania. So I'm going to start with the paint pen and do very wide circular strokes instead of using my regular stick tool, which I make marks on the wet paint. I'm going to do a preliminary layer of marks. And since the gel plate is kind of rubbery, so there's a little bit of resistance, so I can't do the usual quick sweeping motions that I'm accustomed to. I have to go very slowly. And seems to register very light, almost like pencil. And that's one. That's for my acrylic paint pen. Now I'm going to use my Sharpie for some more or less straighter lines. See, the Sharpie gets used a lot, so it's also coming to the end of its lifespan. Okay. Now I have my chisel marker. Let's see, maybe I can do these thicker lines. Chisel marker seems to be working more successfully. Maybe because it has a stronger grip. Okay. So that is it for my first layer of marks. Now I have here my basics acrylic paint, which is at the end of it's literally on its last leg. So I diluted it with water and I put some of it here. Now what's in this tube is leftovers. So I'm going to see if I can do a splatter technique. Just to give some interesting texture. Okay. And so as a first layer, this is like a heavily textured composition. Very free form. No real structure. And so I will air dry this, let the drips dry, and then I will apply a second layer of paint. So don't go away. Okay, I've had a chance to dry the blots or the spots with my desk fan, and to make things go faster, I went over it with my tissue paper, kind of blotted the excess, and maybe I can use these marks also for future work. And on your screen you will see Acrylic Raw Sienna. This is Artist Loft Raw Sienna, Unbleached Titanium, and Arctic. Now here's an example of a discrepancy of the color. They're both named Raw Sienna, but there's a drastic difference with the difference of brands. So I just go by sight. I pick my colors by sight, not by number or by formula. So I will create these zones. Here, let me do a longer shot. There'll be these zones of lighter colors for the first layer. So I will start with the lightest color, which is Unbleached Titanium. And again, this is at its last leg. It's almost gone. So I'm just gonna do a zone here. By the way, I forgot to mention this is a double set of large format gel plates. Since this is a milestone episode for 3,000 subscribers, I thought I'd do a monster print for you guys. So that is the Unbleached Titanium. Here is, oops, here is some of the Raw Sienna. I'll try my best to keep my fingers clean. It doesn't always work, but and I have to keep in mind that because this is a large plate, I risk the chance that the paint will dry on me. I mean, the second layer will dry on me. So I kind of have to work quickly before this dries. Okay, and then lastly, I have some Arctic here. And I'm not worrying so much that the brayer makes these marks, because I kind of want them to create a mark with the heel. So I have all these sections of color, which I had pre-planned. I'm going to use the heel of my brayer to make some marks. Okay. So now I will use my paper, which is a piece of Stonehenge, and hopefully this will transfer nicely. And this time I'm not bothered with a border. I'm letting the design go all the way to the edge, so I don't have to be too careful about lining up the edges. I do like this paper a lot. It's not that expensive. I think it averages about $6.50 a sheet. And it's 100% rag, acid-free, and it's a good printmaking paper without being too expensive. Because I know the European papers like Arches or BFK can run up to $10 a sheet, and it's kind of expensive. Okay, so I'm leaving this paper on for about 20 minutes because I want to lift up the initial marks, the permanent markers and the splatter marks. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. Let's see what we have here. I think the transfer is good. It's very painterly effect. It's almost, I have to use two hands here. So you can see how sticky this is. It's lifting the plate off the table. Now the stickiness is not a bad thing, because that's what allows the image to transfer. Now I like the imperfections here, but some of the paint hasn't transferred, but it creates this blotchy texture, which I like. Okay, I have to be a little careful now. Considering it's only been 15 minutes, I would say 95% of the paint has transferred. Okay. I like that. It's already a very interesting and complex image. I like these drip marks. And I like the thick marker here. So I'm going to air dry this as usual. And proceed to the next step. Okay, everyone, was able to map out my reusable stencils on the plate. I had to stop and think and map this out because it's a fairly large area. So I want this to be planned out as much as possible. So anyway, I'm going to assign some zones here. This will be red. This is Arctic right here. There'll be a column of black. I'm going to try to use what's left of my leftover black paint here. And then lastly, on the left side, I will have a column of copper, kind of to brighten things up. So I will start with this column of black. Now, since this is a kind of a watery black, it's going to be a bit textured. And I'm not using a brayer, I'm using a brush. So there's going to be some slight texture because it's watery, and I do want the effect to be that of a more painterly effect. Okay, that's it for the black. Now for this I will use my brayer as usual. I'm going to use what's left of the paint that's in here. Okay, I think I have all the stencils taken out. Just making sure my hands are clean. Get these guys out of the way. And just to refresh your memory, here is print with the marks. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure on the paper so I can pick up all the subtle textures. Okay, I will leave this for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, it's about 15 minutes now. Let's see what we have here. Now the Arctic is a bit on the heavy side, so I wanted it to be opaque. Let me just cover this to protect the back. Pretty cool result. It's like an oil painting. It's a little wild, but I wanted to do something a little more loose and freeform with some shapes here. But this is very abstract, and it's a little different from the very tight, clean shapes that I'm used to. Yeah, I forgot the stencil here. So I'm going to air dry this again and see what the next step will be. Okay, everyone, I'm back. After a short break, I was able to go through my box of scraps, and I came up with little odds and ends. Here's a piece of constellation map that I printed out. I thought that would make a nice centerpiece here. Here is some warm-up that I used. And here's a fragment of a stencil in a number 8. And it just happened to have a cityscape here. And I thought it would be cool to have that included. And here is a scrap of text, random text that I printed out. And I thought that would be a nice counterpoint. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start mounting. There we go. Okay, I think I'm gonna call this done. And here is a close-up of the texture. Is it some detail? Here's a star chart. First of all, it's the size. It's a double size gel print, and it only has 2 layers of color, but with some careful blocking, I was able to achieve a very complex outcome. So anyway, I hope you like this video. Please give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for subscribing and watching. Please, if you can, donate to my PayPal account, and the proceeds go to production costs and art supplies. Thank you again so much, and I hope to see you next time.